85. I think Chad's working on his share over there. Pretty big week for week 11 again, and we're counting down for the Bucks and the Giants, which no one's really interested in unless
Hey,
you've
whoa.
Oh, I'm sorry. Do you feel like people are super engaged in this game?
I know one person that is.
Hey, make it two. You guys know I've been hyping the G-Men all year. Come on.
Yeah, the only way I'm interested is because I went to Cool Bet and made a little same game parlay. I had a vitamin before we came on, so I don't remember it off the top of my head. So I'm not even going to bother. But let's get started. Let's go around here. How are we feeling? It's what is today? Monday. It's Monday. We got a big guest tonight too, guys.
Oh, nice.
You have a big guest tonight.
Yeah, how you doing, Chad?
I'm good, man. I had a good weekend, man. My boys who I was coaching the last 3 years, obviously I stepped down due to some 1-9 related issues this year. They had their conference championship game, and they won in the most ridiculous way I've ever seen a football game end. They won by a rouge, like the most Canadian thing that could ever happen.
Absolutely outstanding.
They literally they were down 14-0 with 1 minute and 59 seconds left, and then literally a botched snap on a punt recovered for a touchdown, a 2-and-out, 50-yard touchdown, a ensuing kickoff forced a fumble, and then literally ran it down to the 2-yard line and kicked a rouge with no time left on the clock.
Wow.
Wild.
It was the craziest thing I've ever seen. Like, I know Shane's seen my apartment. Kayla, I don't think you ever have. There's literally only 15 feet of apartment here. And I think I walked 10 miles watching that game.
Well, I mean, I know you're not there anymore, Chad, but I mean, it's a hell of a program you guys have built there. This is like continuous for you guys, yeah? Like year over year, you guys are doing really well.
Yeah, they've won 3 championships in their 30-year history. 2 of them were the last 2 years I was there. So I'm not saying I was the reason, because it was definitely not. It wasn't me. I'm going to take full. I will not say it was me. We had a great recruiting class the last couple of years, and those kids earned it, man. They worked their ass off. So my hats are tipped off to them, and they have a national championship coming up. And it's the first time ever it's been in London on December 4th. So good luck to them.
I heard Western might be opening up the gates or something. I heard about it. They're making some pressure for it, right?
Yeah, that's the rumor. So we'll see. And it's we need that kind of facility for a game like that. So that's pretty cool, and I'm glad I got to be a part of it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. And like we said before, pretty big show tonight. Caleb or Chad, what's our guest name tonight? I know he plays for Saskatoon. I've never talked to
Holden Garlent from the Saskatoon Rush, the National Lacrosse League. I know we're not huge lacrosse guys here, but hey, we thought we'd take a chance and we threw out a flyer, and the guy said yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Sports.
Hey, he plays like one of the craziest sports out there. So I'm kidding.
Yeah.
That guy's definitely got some stories to tell, I'm sure. If he's boring, we'll just cut him off. But I can't imagine anybody that plays professional lacrosse is any, you know what I mean? He's got to be something wild.
Something tells me that guy's probably had a beer or two in his life. So
yeah, he's got a story to tell. Something wild. Let's start off to the show by talking about Sunday Night Football. And normally I wouldn't bring up a Steelers loss. I know that. You guys know that. But the game itself was absolutely unreal. And I left that game thinking, wow, the Steelers actually might have a chance to make a playoff run here. I'm not signing off for the Super Bowl. And the one thing I said to Chad was, oh my God, Ben Roethlisberger is going to be the quarterback again next year. Because there's absolutely no way that the Steelers would ever cut him. And he's starting to feel better. You know, that guy laid on his couch for 2 weeks, didn't throw a football, came out, and I believe at one point he had a moonshot for a touchdown.
I asked Shane what that word was that Kalen always says to me, and that's what he told me.
You guys haven't had your bye yet, right? Or you had your bye already?
No, yeah, we had it. I'm not sure why Chad's sideways, but we had our bye for sure.
Oh, there we go. Well, I mean, listen, he sat on the couch for 2 weeks. He looked okay last night. He looked like Ben Roethlisberger of old with some heat on his arm there. Let's see if he can chain some games together, though. That's a lot of games left ahead of him, and they're all important. Like, he can't take anything off for the rest of the season at this point, right?
Oh, for sure.
Especially with the Bengals winning.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I'll be honest. We have the Bengals this week. I'm not worried. But the Mason Rudolph experience, has been one that's been ongoing for about 5 years. A couple years ago, he had an okay like fill and roll. Him and Quack Quack Duck Duck did a little bit of action there. This is showing all the Steelers fans that hated Ben Roethlisberger into this year that you're a fucking idiot, and this guy still obviously has something inside of him. But the way that the Chargers moved the ball up and down the field, the way that the Steelers were able to get themselves back into the game, I think that tells you two things. It tells you, one, the Steelers probably aren't a team you want to play in January, and two, the Chargers won't be there in January.
You all know I love Justin Herbert. I've been high on that kid since he got into the league here now. Since he got in the league after his third game, I think I really got on the train. But I think, and I know you didn't have all your team, Shane. Okay, I know there were some players missing yesterday, but a win like that, regardless of how the win comes out, I think that makes. I mean, he had 400 or almost 500 yards on offense. Like that's amazing.
And they still almost lost the game. To a bunch of backups.
I think that's one of those games we talked in the past about, a game that's significant for a team. And I don't care that you're missing players. You're still the Steelers. You're going to have that aura about you. And if a kid can drop nearly 500 yards of offense on the Steelers defense, regardless of who's on the field, okay, I think that's just something that can put this kid over the edge, man. I think he's got the crazy amount of confidence as it is. I think after last night's game on a primetime showing, that last touchdown to Mike Williams with blown coverage, but ride the wave, kid. I think he's going to.
Look, that was a 7th round pick rookie that made a mistake. So let's not crown a guy for catching a wide open ball. Is Justin Herbert good? Yeah. Is that Chargers team any good? I don't know. I mean, Chad and I sat and watched the entire game together, so maybe I'll get Chad's opinion before I keep spewing my Steelers propaganda onto you. But Chad, talk to me. Tell me I'm nuts.
You're both a little nuts. I think it is a confidence builder for Justin Herbert, whatever who is playing defense. Obviously, anytime you have a game
they call
like
that the slump buster, right? He took the heavy chick out for a nice seafood dinner and never called her again.
Yeah, exactly. It's just one of those things where it's good for his confidence. He's had a couple rough weeks this season, so having a game like that. But at the same time, there was nothing not a knock on your Steelers, but everybody keeps saying this team's done and all that. If they're that done, we should be really concerned about this Chargers team. It goes two ways. Either the Steelers team's actually better than we thought they were, or this Chargers team is nowhere near as good as what we thought they were. And I've been high on the Chargers.
Yeah.
But nothing really impressed me that much outside of, I think Austin Eckler had a good game inside the red zone. Outside of that, he didn't do nothing crazy. Justin Herbert had a good game but he was never under duress. And I think, and when the Steelers started getting pressure on him, any quarterback, I don't care how good you are. Tom Brady's the same way. Peyton Manning had the same issues. If you're under duress, your game is going to falter. And that's when they started making plays. When there's no pressure on them, any quarterback can sit back there and sling it all day long. Do I think if the Steelers had their top guys there, the game be different? I would hope so. That's a lot of money tied up in some players if it's not.
Yep.
But yeah, I think it goes both ways. I think the Steelers showed us more of who they can be, and I think the Chargers kind of showed us more of who they are. The Chargers should win shootouts, and that's what they did.
Right.
I don't think the Steelers' offense is anything special, and they still put up 37 points. I think that's where we have to be more worried about the Chargers.
I agree, and the Chargers are supposed to have a good defense and a half-decent secondary. Their weakness is actually supposed to be their run game, and that wasn't their weakness yesterday. It actually seemed like it was their strength. So maybe they found out yesterday that they can only defend one or the other. And when you get to January football, if you can't play solid defense and your offense can be so sporadic, take the block punt aside. There's no reason that the Steelers should score 27 points in a single quarter on you. That offense.
I don't think no team should score 27 points in a quarter.
Yeah, and look, it was a great game. I left that game. Shit. Yeah, I left that game feeling so much better about the season. There's a tough road ahead with, some division games. They still got to play Tennessee, which I actually might be going to that game, Kalen. And yeah, we got to play the Chiefs, who are getting a little bit hotter. But look, I think that they're going to be fine down the stretch. I think that they're going to win 4 more games and probably find a way to sneak in on the back end here. But how about the struggles in Tennessee? Because I want to know. Because I didn't watch this thing bell to bell. I'm not going to pretend like I did. I saw the weather. I saw the Tannehill lowlights, and I saw the fact that it didn't look like they could muster up a run game. But is this struggle a one-off, or is this something that we should be a little bit more concerned about? We're not right off, but is this the weakness?
Well, I don't know if you had seen that the punt that was stopped at the 4-yard line. It bounced off of the inside of the leg of the returner. He turned around and tried to do the blocking or whatever. And a play like that, like footballs don't bounce like that. That's just a bad luck bounce right there. That gave them 7 points. Okay. They had 2 field goals before that. The second half was a far different game defensively. I mean, actually, I got a good tweet here for you that I read today. I know these are you got to take the small victories away, as you were doing as last night's game too, right? So the Titans defense held the Texans to a total of 7 yards and 0 first downs on their last 6 possessions. The Texans had 13 points of the 22 off turnovers and gained only 1 yard on those scores. So without those 5 turnovers, we'd be focusing on another great defensive performance. And I think that's true. The second half was a far different game, but it was also we're a team that's not built to come down from 14 points playing in pouring rain when you have people running upright like Adrian Peterson continues to do. We went to Dontrell Hillard. So I think actually I didn't check to see today, but we may have tied the record for most players played in the season as of yesterday because we lost even more players. A.J. Brown went down after the first half. He got hurt in the first half, came back, and in the first drive of the second half, he went down with another injury with we don't know. It looked like he dislocated his shoulder. That's what it looked like. But they said that today that they gave him an MRI on his ribs. So we had another player, Des Fitzpatrick, come in. He was a practice drafted this year in the 4th round. Cut him. Done to a practice squad, gets called up last week and gets thrust into the starting role yesterday as a result. So and Tanny's lowlights that you mentioned there, like 2 of those picks are on Des. Like he ran the wrong route. He doesn't fight for the ball in the one in the end zone, and the second one, Chad, I'm sure you've coached wide receivers. If the DB is giving you inside leverage, do you turn to the outside in a button hook?
My receivers were always open. That's all I was ever told.
Oh, shit. Well, that was a prime example. It was an underthrow too by Tanny, but if you had turned to the inside, you would have had the inside leverage to make the attempt for the ball rather than having the corner make the play on the ball.
So where was the defender? I was just making a joke.
So if you're the wide receiver and you're hugging the sideline, okay, and the defender's on the inside, do you turn to the outside or do you turn to the inside?
Well, if he's giving you inside shade, you would release the outside.
That's right. And vice versa, if he's hugging the outside, which a DBs typically shouldn't be doing unless you're trying to shade you into cover 3, right? If he's hugging the sideline, you shouldn't be turning to the outside, right? You should be turning to the inside. That way you have inside leverage to the ball. And he certainly did yesterday. Yeah, exactly. Thank you. Yeah. So that was the
coaching's not that hard. Look, you did it. Yeah, coaching's easy.
And that was the game that was the play that sealed the game. We had a lot of bad mistakes up to there. I think it's a one-off. But we walked into that game, guys. I said to you last week, I'm not going to be upset if we lose this. I thought players were going to sit, and they did. We got to play the Patriots next week. I'm worried. I'll be honest with you. That's what we're going to see what Tennessee's really about right now.
Yeah, can we talk about the Patriots? I don't even know if they're on the rundown.
Yeah, they are. Oh, they're going to be in the net. They're going to be in the next window.
How fucking frustrating is? Oh wait.
Yeah.
That fucking bag of milk.
Yeah, if you want to get into the AFC East, the question would be, who is the Buffalo Bills, or who are the Buffalo Bills? Like, what in the actual fuck is going on with that team? I get, and we kind of talked about this going in, how we thought that the Colts were going to be the fighting chance, and who would have thought that we had the Texans, the Colts, and the Packers, and the Packers are the ones that fucked us over on our Super Booster weekend. Can't believe that.
Against the Vikings.
Shout out to you, Josh Rundle. I saw your ass just pop on.
No, yeah, you're right. The Bills. I told you going into that weekend, I said some reason to get you off the train. They hadn't beaten anybody good, right? And they've come into the Colts. I think the Colts are catching steam. I said they needed to lean on Jonathan Taylor Thomas, right, Shane? Yeah. JTT. They had to lean on him to win the game, and they sure as hell did, right? 5 touchdowns. Yeah. I think we found out who the Bills really are. they're a good team against mediocre competition. They're going to blow them out. But when they go toe to toe with a good team as well, they're going to get rocked. I think that's the way it is. And I think in fact, we just can't beat sub 500 teams. It's the way we are. It's okay to face who we are.
Hey, perfect. That's why we rode the train, and we definitely thought that the Packers were going to get the done money line against the fucking Vikings. But yeah, apparently they stink. But when it comes down to it, you know, I'm going to keep going back to this. I'm going to keep quoting that article from the beginning of the season. Best value bet for division winners was, the New England Patriots, plus 385 at our friends over at Coolbet. If you played that, you're definitely looking like a genius right now, because I don't see any end in sight for what's happening to Buffalo. I do think that they're going to go down on Thanksgiving and take down the Saints, but that's more of an indictment on the Saints team than it would be the Bills team. But that Bills team looks like they're built to play in a dome in places like New Orleans or Atlanta. They have no run game. Josh Allen is their entire run game. Their defense looks soft. And the fact that you allow a running back to score 5 touchdowns on you and rush for 158, like those are his Wisconsin numbers.
Mm-hmm. He was great for my fantasy this weekend.
I bet.
Oh, you had him?
Yeah.
Honestly, I
didn't analyze him.
I was legitimately fantasizing about him.
Yeah.
Like, how much does that hurt you as a Titans fan? Like, you have to cheer for the Colts running back. Like,
Well,
I think
that's
you should
why-
revoke your card.
Well, that's why I said last week, talking about MVP, I said I might have to give it to Jonathan Taylor. I'm totally okay with it if he's going to help my fantasy like that. Shit.
You're a bad fan. I can tell you right now, Shane has never drafted Lamar Jackson.
Never will. I don't take any Ravens and usually Bengals. I've normally been okay with taking Browns players because they generally they
Have
stink.
good running backs, right?
Yeah,
That's why. Yeah.
But I mean, they're just not a legitimate threat. Yeah. Anyway, I think that you might have hit it on the head last week when we were talking about the Bills. It seems like they're free falling. They went from a team that we thought was going to be a 1 or a 2 seed in the AFC. Currently, as they sit, they are the 7 seed, and we're going to get in a little bit of AFC playoff picture. What time do we got our guest on? It's Holden, right? What? 7:50?
7:50.
All right,
yeah.
cool. We still got lots of time here. So let's move on to the playoff picture then. AFC, NFC. Right now, it seems like the AFC is kind of settling down. There's a few teams that you could probably knock out. You know, the Dolphins, the Texans, the Jaguars. But in the NFC, and we'll get back to the AFC in a sec, but in the NFC, there's a lot of teams that are still open here. I mean, we got even Washington, the Falcons, even the Giants play. If the Giants can somehow muster up a win tonight against the Bucks, they're right back into this thing.
The Eagles.
How dare you?
After yesterday's game, honestly, I know the Saints have a really good defense too. After yesterday's game, they're a scary team when they click.
Yeah. I mean, sitting at 5 and 6 right now, they're in pretty good shape. They still need a lot to go their way for the East to fall their way. But the Cowboys last night, are you putting that more on the Cowboys or more on the Chiefs defense improving?
Oh my God, what a flop. I mean, the one guy that needed to improve all year for the Chiefs defense was Chris Jones. And what did he do? He got 3.5 sacks last night. I think he matched his season total. So you got a pressure like that up the front of Dak Prescott. Their offensive line was beat up. They don't have the pass rushers that they should have had for the season. Randy Gregory wasn't playing last night. There's too much being asked of Micah Parsons. The guy's a versatile player, but there's just too much being asked of that defense right now.
So you think it's more of the Cowboys offense fell apart as opposed to the Chiefs defense actually played well?
Yeah. Listen, until I see that Chiefs defense really start stringing together some real good games, not just that one good game, then I'll give them some credit. But the Tiger doesn't change their stripes that quickly through the season. That team was historically bad through the start of the season.
I think that they got something figured out, and it helped when they got Melvin Ingram from the Steelers. Their defense is getting a little bit healthier. The less you need Sorensen on the field is obviously a good thing. But ultimately, when you look at a Cowboys team like that, I think that the Cowboys are exactly who you'd assume that they are. and exactly what we probably thought they were going in. A team that will be a playoff team, but a team that's probably a one and done in the playoffs again.
I think we have to also remember too, their two biggest weapons. Amari Cooper didn't play at all.
Yeah.
CeeDee Lamb didn't play. And Shane, we talked about this last night. Like anybody who thinks Michael Gallup is a good receiver is a fucking moron. He's really good because he has two really good receivers around him, in a really good quarterback.
At what point do you have to blame the coaching though? Because they just weren't even attempting to run the ball, and they got two guys that I wouldn't say that they're the best tandem 1 and 2 for running backs in the league, but they'd definitely be up there.
It's just the way they call a game, right? That their game plan was a throw. The Chiefs can't stop the pass. Do I think you have to adapt and adjust? 100%. Do I also believe that coaches have egos? 100%.
All you need to do is watch a Browns game and you'll find out.
Exactly. You're not going to change. Like, if that's what your game plan going in is, you're going to stick to it regardless, and you got to trust the process. Sometimes it's wrong, and you're going to bounce back. And I think that Cowboys are still a dangerous team in the NFC. I think right now, though, unfortunately, it's the Green Bay Packers. I think it's going to run through now. That or Arizona. When the Cowboys are out.
Right. Yeah. I mean, are we putting any stock into this loss in Minnesota yesterday?
Man, it was the game of the day yesterday. I think it was. Shane, your game was really, really hype at the very end there. The last 20 minutes of the game, I think, was really good. But this game from beginning to end, I think, was amazing. And Justin Jefferson, holy shit. Like the Vikings, just with the riches of wide receivers they've had run through that organization, that kid triple doubled. We went into that weekend talking about Green Bay's defense being this complete turnaround, how good they've been over the last 4 or 5 weeks, and then get blown out like that division game, but get blown out like that points wise. It was a close game, but lots of points on the board, and you just couldn't cover Jefferson, man. And I love watching the kid play. I love his dance. I love everything about that kid, man. It's probably because he's in the NFC, doesn't have to hurt us too much.
yeah, and the that game was good. I'm a little bitter towards that game because it lost us our boost overall. In the first quarter of all 3 of those games, I was like, oh shit, we did it. We just got the cheat code, but wasn't really working out.
Just kidding.
I'm not worried about the Packers. I should say that though. It's a division game. That's one of those ones. You can't count those things out. Playing on the turf, that's just a fast game. That's really what the Vikings are built for. The Vikings are going to play at home this year. If they have to play outside on the ice, that might be a problem.
Can we talk about how Shane and I have Devontae Adams and Justin Jefferson on our fantasy team, though?
Wow.
And Mike Williams.
Who's your running back?
Ezekiel Elliott, and Nick Chubb, and Aaron Jones.
Are these a pay league? Can I get into those leagues, please?
Hey, this is a dynasty league, and over the last 3 years, Chad and I have not only dominated championships, but we've dominated the drafts to get in. The 1 year we picked up Jefferson and Claypool in the same draft.
Wow.
And then this past year, we got Michael Carter, Jalen Waddle, Trevor Lawrence, Mac Jones, and some other dude. And I was like,
jeez.
The boys just keep rolling.
Yeah.
But,
and everybody's like, oh, I'll give you this top talent for your first round pick next year. Okay. So we're the St. Louis Rams. We just don't care about draft picks. We'll just take what we get, and then we'll just move on.
On your fantasy squads, who's been your like crazy good pickup this year? Off the wire.
We haven't had to.
Yeah, no, we don't
Did
have
you hear
to.
our roster?
Yeah, I guess so. Man, I can't believe it. I got Elijah Moore for free. The guy's been treating me like a goddamn king for the last 3 weeks, man.
The best guy we got off of waiver wires this year was Mike Osicki.
This is the best you got?
Well, that's what we needed, was a tight end.
Yeah, I guess.
So. But yeah, so right now in the NFC playoffs, Arizona holds the top spot. You got Minnesota, LA, and New Orleans kind of hosting those wild card spots. Kind of wild matchup. If the season was to end today, Tampa Bay would play LA in the first round of the playoffs. But of those 3 wild card teams, if you're looking at LA, Minnesota, New Orleans, who can get bumped by the 49ers, the Eagles, the Panthers, or some of those other 4-win teams? I mean, Washington football team seems like they're coming on a little bit. I don't know. I'm so Jekyll and Hyde on the Panthers right now. I don't even know what to expect from them. But anybody in that mix that can jump up, and if they do, who they're knocking out.
I think the Saints are going to get knocked out.
Yeah.
Trevor Simeon's good enough. I just don't think he's going to win you any football games. So I think that's Kirk Cousins. We already know what he is. He's having a phenomenal year. And that Vikings team just hangs in football games.
Yep.
Like, there's some games they have no business being in, and they just hang out in there.
Have
They
you
have
seen his
pieces on
quarterback
every
stats
level.
for the year?
He's right up the top of the league everywhere.
He's 21 touchdown passes and 2 interceptions.
Yeah.
Who's this, Kirk?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like that was the guy I was saying MVP. Like he's just on a roll right now.
So like I think the Saints are the odd man out. I really like the San Francisco team coming back with Jimmy G.
Yep.
I also have a soft spot for them, so I think that might play into it. Make my dad happy. And they're gonna get back in the will. Pissed them off for a couple of years, so I gotta find a way back in there. But yeah, no, I think the 49ers and the Eagles are the two scariest teams that are on that bubble.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if they were both in and both Minnesota and New Orleans were out, or vice versa. It seems like we're kind of concurring on there'll be a combination of it being, whether it be the 49ers or the Eagles, those are the two teams that look hot and they look ready to make a run here. That's probably the team that's going to unseat a team like the Saints. But when you move over to the AFC, and we got about 5 minutes before Holden jumps on here, Titans are still 1. Baltimore finds way to lose the first 3 quarters and then win in the 4th. Pats are red hot right now. Chiefs are getting hot. And then your 3 wildcard teams go Cincinnati, LA, Buffalo. And then your small list of teams still in the hunt, if you're looking at Pittsburgh, Indy, Vegas, Denver, where's the shuffle happening there?
I think the Chargers and Cincinnati are the two teams that are in the most trouble. I do believe in Buffalo, just the fact that their division sucks outside of the Patriots.
Yep.
So I think they're going to get a couple wins there. And like I said to you last night, Indianapolis I think is the scariest team in the AFC right now.
Mm-hmm.
Jonathan Taylor is doing something ridiculous. He's playing at a different level right now. He's playing on that Derrick Henry level. Unfortunately, Derrick Henry's not here. I'd love to watch 2 of them go for a rushing title. I think that would have been amazing to watch. And Carson Wentz is just doing exactly what Carson Wentz needs to do now. Do I think Carson Wentz is a franchise quarterback? I think he's the franchise quarterback for that team, for what they need. And I think that's more than enough. And I think Carson Wentz will win them a game or 2 down the stretch. And I said to you last night, Shane, how much I'm worried about Indy going deeper into the season.
Right. Strong
They play
defense.
you soon.
Run
Next week
game's there. Who's that?
I think they play the Bucks next week. Actually, it's either next week or the following week. They got a game coming up real soon.
Yeah. Well, I mean that'll be a good game.
Mm-hmm.
The Bucks run defense started off the season really good. Last couple of weeks they seem like they've been a bag of shit, but I think that they're probably going to figure out tonight. Bucks and Giants. We'll see if they can put Saquon Barkley back on the IR. But yeah, I mean, taking teams out of the playoffs right now, it's anyone's guess, right? But I have kind of said it from the start. I don't think that Cincinnati is as good as Kalen wants them to be. I also saw some pretty big holes in the Chargers defense yesterday, which is going to be a little bit of a holdback. Now, could I see the Chargers being the team that keeps the Steelers out of the playoffs? Absolutely. They get in as a 7 seed. They got the tiebreaker. Last night's game is probably going to be a little bit more meaningful than it looks right now. But I do think that the Colts are going to take that position that Cincinnati's holding. And it's not going to come down to Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, LA. It's going to come down to LA or Pittsburgh. And that's who's going to get in. And like I said, if it comes down to tiebreaker, then last night's game is a little bit more important than we're putting stock on too. I don't know how you feel, Kaden. You got about a minute and a half before we pull Holden in.
No, I mean, you kind of echoed exactly what I feel, except I really do think the Bengals can still make some noise. I just something about those kids playing down there. Mixon puts a good game together yesterday was like 120 something yards. They need that. They're starting to get some of that from him. I know they caught a bad team in the Raiders right now, just in the way they are. In the NFC, the Saints. Listen, you talk about Trevor Simeon. They go on and give him 4 years, $40 more million to Taysom Hill. Are you going to play the? I know he's been injured, but is this really the answer to the playoffs? You're going to start playing him on the field, and I do love the idea of what he brings to the team. He takes 3 positions away from you. You can field 3 more players on the field or 2 more players on the field as a result. But it's a lot of money for a guy who hasn't played a lot of snaps, and you really haven't seen him throw the ball 15 times, 20 times in a game. So they're always in cap hell. What are they seeing this 31-year-old guy they want to continuously be in cap hell over?
I don't know. I don't care. We're getting to the end. Yeah, we're getting to the end of that little quick one. We're gonna pull in here a guy plays pro lacrosse for the Saskatoon Rush. I do not
correction.
remember
Saskatchewan is what I was corrected. Saskatchewan Rush.
Oh, you fucking asshole! All right. Anyway, yeah, pro lacrosse player, absolute stud. Can't see his face, but there he is. How you doing, man? How's it
not
going?
bad. How are you guys?
We're
good,
good.
man. You're probably the most handsome guy that's ever played lacrosse right there.
Yeah.
Damn, look at the
That's
mustache
a
on that
first,
character.
That's a first.
Yeah. How's it going, man? How's everything? You all ready for the season?
Yeah, it's good, man. Just got off the ice, so getting back to the hockey roots. But yeah, I'm excited for lacrosse to start up.
Nice.
Right.
When's first game?
December 4th in Halifax. So that should be a good
Okay.
one. Another they're a good team.
Yeah, one of our
How many
friends
teams
in
are
the show
actually in
he
Canada?
covers that team.
How many?
That's
What
the team.
story?
How many teams are in Canada in this in the NLL?
Oh fuck. Vancouver, Calgary, Sask, Toronto, Halifax. I could be missing one, but I'd say 5. 5.
5?
Lots of traveling. Wow.
Yeah, a lot of travel. It's good though. You get to
Jeez.
see everywhere, right? You get to go out in multiple cities, which is nice.
What's the craziest city that you played in? Like, what is it? Just an absolute like shit show inside the arena.
Inside the arena, I'd say us. Like we're crazy.
Oh yeah.
There's nothing to do there, so they love us. They love the Rough Riders. So we get about 14,000 a game, which is up there for
Wow.
Damn.
Yeah,
That's wild.
yeah. And the fans are just loaded the whole game. It's pretty funny.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
That's good. That's how we do our show, so it works out.
There you go. You guys would fit in good then.
So
Yeah.
Holden, tell me, can you walk me through how you get into lacrosse? Like, what gets you to the NLL? Sorry.
For me, I don't know if my path was a little different. I know a lot of good players started a little later in life. I was actually 2 years old when I think I first started playing lacrosse because my brother Hunter plays pro hockey in Germany, but he's 18 months older than me. So when my mom went to go sign him up, I was sitting at the desk crying because I wanted to play as well. So the lady at the front desk let me sign up as well. So I was running around out there still wearing diapers. Yeah, pretty funny
awesome.
story. But I actually switched from player to goalie and then back to player. So now obviously I play defense in the NLL. So definitely a different transition.
It's really crazy to be a goalie in any sport, but I feel like the goalies in lacrosse, like the way how big their stature is, the padding and everything, you remind me like the big black knight. You know what I mean? The big bad guy.
Yeah. With how big they are, there's still a lot of room. Like you can still get them moving, which is nice.
I've always wondered what makes someone stand in front of an Indian rubber ball on purpose.
That's right.
Like I remember playing
That's why I'm a player now.
Like there's no way anybody ever wants to block a shot.
No. I don't know, like field lacrosse, a couple of the goalies, because they don't wear any gear. They just use their stick to try to save it, and they got nothing on their legs, nothing like that. So remember talking to a buddy who also played defense in hockey, and he was saying the lacrosse ball doesn't hurt because it's round. I don't think that. I think it still hurts if I block a shot and I'm standing in front of the net. But, yeah, he says the puck hurts more because it doesn't bounce as well.
Not a chance.
Yeah,
I'm not buying that at all.
No, that's what I said to him.
Yeah. Hey, our good friends over at Coolbet Canada have you guys at a 5.5-1 favorite to win this whole thing. So
Yeah.
as a show here, we were trying to think, is that a strong bet? I mean, are you even allowed to say that? I don't even know if you're allowed to say that.
I don't know. I obviously can't put money on it. I can't.
Yeah,
touch
no,
it,
no.
But,
Yeah, don't get Pete roast.
No, yeah, e-transfer us. We're good.
yeah. Yeah. I don't know if I If I wasn't playing, I'd be hammering us. Am I allowed to say that or what? We'll
Oh
find
yeah,
out.
hey,
Oh yeah.
that is
We'll
all
find
the
out.
information I needed, my man. That is perfect.
Yeah.
We're
I
going
know
to get after that.
Halifax is right there with us. So I don't know. Maybe wait till after that first game because we play them. Maybe they beat us or we beat them, and one of our odds drop a lot. So
Nah, we got to get you while you're juicy. I think
yeah, you
5.5
get it. Well, it's good.
Yeah, they might be undershooting you guys a little bit there.
Yeah.
So we're gonna
we go in there, we beat them, and then we're 1.5 or something.
Yeah. So is that so? Your first game is out in Halifax against what's projected as the number 1 team. You guys, it seems like you're projected as the 2 team, whatever that means.
Yeah.
But I think one of our friends of the show, he actually covers the Halifax team.
Yeah.
Pat Gregoire. I'm sure you've heard that name before. Yeah. He's good guy. So I'm curious to see what he thinks about that. He's probably cursing the show right now for us talking about.
For sure. No, they're a good team. I know they got a few new faces, so they'll definitely be good. They definitely got deeper, which is good for them. But it'll be a good match. Like I remember last year, that had to be the best game I've ever been a part of. We were up 12-3, I think, going into the second half. They tied it up with 10 seconds left or something. Took us to overtime, 15-15. They scored in overtime. We went upstairs, got disallowed. We scored in overtime. They went upstairs, disallowed, and then we scored and it counted. So definitely one of the craziest games I've ever played in.
Now, what's the most irritating thing as a lacrosse player? Getting hacked in the arm or in the leg?
See, that's why I play D. I get to hack.
Oh, they're not hacking at you.
Yeah. No, I would say, well, you're allowed to hit slash in the arm, so that's kind of just bumps and bruises now. It's kind of second nature, I guess. It happens all the time. So if you take one in the knee or something, that's not pleasant at all.
Yeah, I remember playing as a kid, and like we would go to certain spots in Ontario, and it just didn't seem like there was any rules. And I remember getting like two-handed, and like that was like lacrosse isn't for me. Baseball's more my speed.
Yeah. I don't know. Like I've seen. I was actually coaching some younger kids here, right when COVID started. So it was just like a small team and stuff. But like you know how big some kids are when they're 12 years old and how little others are. Like it's such a big gap. Like it's lacrosse. I'll be honest. It's a dangerous sport when you're that age. A lot more dangerous then than it is now. I think for myself.
So Shane had mentioned like when he went played and found out pretty quickly there was no rules. That's something like every sport, it seems, in the last 20 years has really gone to this finesse stage and gotten away from, meeting at the blue line like Scott Stevens did back in the day. So what's a big change in lacrosse, or has there been anything? Because I don't watch a lot of lacrosse, but I do certainly watch the highlights for the hits. Like if I'm going to watch lacrosse highlights, that's what I'm looking for. So has there been anything that's changed at all?
I don't know. I kind of feel like it's getting more like hockey, where there's not a lot of stage fights. When you do get the fights, it's normally if something happens, like in hockey, a cheap hit or something, so you stick up for your teammate, something along those lines. So from my experience, I would say the stage fights are a little bit different. You don't really get two heavyweights squaring up, but when you do, it's definitely a good show. Like lacrosse fights are crazy. They're a street fight. Take off your own helmet, square up, and you fight. Like
I'm surprised to hear that you've kind of stepped back from that. I thought that was a very unique lacrosse thing that you guys did.
Oh, it for sure happens. It still happens. I'd say back in the day, like you get guys like Billy D. Smith. He's the defensive coach for Halifax, actually. He used to throw him all the time and stuff, and like a big scary guy. So he would fight a little bit, and I don't know. I guess no chance. No chance.
So are you in Halifax? Like, if you're going to be 1 and 2, like, are you guys pretty deep that way as far as like tough guys? Is this going to be a brawler type match, or are you guys a finesse squad?
Definitely more finesse on both teams, but I'd say we got one of the toughest guys in the league. He's just so good that we don't want him fighting.
Oh, really?
Mike Messenger's his name. That's one guy I wouldn't square up with.
Okay, right.
Hey, that's good to know, because we're going to be coming by the barn eventually here, and we want to make sure we're chirping at the right guys.
Oh, for sure.
Shane, write that down on your notepad. Do not chirp.
Yeah, I'm not trying to eat my teeth with this guy.
Yeah. Oh, he's harmless. He's a good guy.
Now, we kind of connected with you through Austin.
Yeah.
So really quickly, is Austin a scumbag, and was he actually good at lacrosse?
Was he good at lacrosse?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Love him to death, but he was that guy that never played for us, and then we needed a goalie, so we threw him in net in high school.
Oh, boy.
Canadian high school is just pickup lacrosse pretty much. You have your 4 to 5 good players, and then the rest you kind of just filter in to have spots. But Barilli, Barilli, 6'4", big guy. We threw him in net, and he actually played well for us. He took us to Austin and stuff, so that was good for him. But
Nice, yeah. Yeah, no, him and I played slow pitch together. Well, Chad too. We played slow pitch together, and so I mean, we know his athletic ability. That's why I was wondering how he pulled off this whole lacrosse thing.
Yeah. I think he had a good 1-year stint or something, so we'll give it to him.
Yeah.
Just like slow pitch, good 1-year stint.
Yeah, a couple games.
Perfect.
I saw you played field lacrosse, and now you play house indoor too. And I saw you play. Is it outdoor in the summertime?
Yeah.
So does your teams let you guys go and play in the off season then? Is that how that works?
Yeah, it's just another way to make money, right? So the PLL is kind of a new league. The MLL that I played in the year, not this summer that just passed, the year before, was another pro field league. They merged together, kind of. So I got picked up in like an expansion type draft for that. Played with the Cannons Lacrosse Club, and PLL is kind of unique because there's no home city. So it's not like I played for the Saskatchewan Rush in the NLL and then the city Cannons. It's just Cannons Lacrosse Club, and you travel to different cities every weekend. So it's pretty cool. So we played nine games this summer, regular season, then however far you go in playoffs. And every week you're in a different city, which is awesome.
Do you guys play a full football field for that?
No, we shrink it down a little bit. I think it's 80 yards, 70 yards.
Yeah,
I'm not running 80 yards on a rush. Fuck that.
Yeah.
No. That's why I play long pole. I'm standing back with my with my attackman.
Yeah, it's like mini sticks is about my speed right now.
Yeah,
that's
that's more of a gasser. Mini sticks for me.
Yeah. Yeah, I could probably roll with that. Now you went to school down in Buffalo.
Yeah.
What was the school?
Canisius College.
So, and at some point, they tricked you into becoming a Bills fan. So have you been keeping up with them, or has training been going
a little
to?
bit.
A
little bit. Yeah. Kind
of a tough week.
Oh, great game, wasn't it?
Yeah. When you see that, and you're a pro athlete yourself, do you think, hey, why haven't the Bills called me to play safety, or like what's going on here?
I don't know. Those guys might be a little bit more athletic than me. I don't know. They're I know they were up there for Super Bowl favorites after a couple weeks in the NFL, and kind of been in a roller coaster year for them. But I don't know. Sure, they can bounce back on track here, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Have you ever been through a table?
Been through a table? Yeah, I threw my buddy through a couple one Sunday.
Yes.
That was his initiation into the Bills Mafia, right?
Oh yeah. Sundays
was
were
the table on
days.
fire, or was it just a plane?
No, just playing.
Okay, yeah. Hey, I mean, you gotta take care of yourself.
You gotta step it up a little bit. Yeah. So is he actually. I won't out him, but I'll tell you what team he plays for. He plays for New York Riptide. So I'll tell you that much. You can look up what guy went to Canisius on that team. That'll get
Easy, perfect.
Yeah.
Now,
Sundays were best days in Buffalo. Wake up Sunday morning, still a little foggy from Saturday, and you drink on a Sunday from 11 a.m. to whenever the game's done, 4:30, and then you're in bed by 7 and up for 7 a.m. practice.
Very well rested for Monday morning, right?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Now I hear you're a big fantasy football guy. Is that the case?
Yeah, last few years I've been doing it with a couple buddies from back home here.
Yeah. So how are you doing this year?
Terrible week this week. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Played with my buddy who's 1-9 and he beat me.
Oh,
terrible.
No,
I'm not bad. I started out 1-4. Yeah. I started out 1-4. Now after this week I'll be 6-5. So definitely.
That's quite a nice stretch.
Yeah. Good stretch.
Well, we have a little fantasy league for the show here, and Chad and I both lost to a girl that doesn't set her lineup. She's she fights on that Barstool Rough and Rowdy. I don't know if you've ever seen that. Yeah. So she actually has a fight coming up. She'll probably be around in the next couple of 10 days or so. But she she's pretty wild at her training and her fighting, but she drafted Derek Watt at like the 3rd round or something like that, thinking that he was one of the good Watt brothers,
Yeah.
and that'll tell you the state of her team. And yeah, somehow she beat Chad and I. So
That's great.
we feel the pain, man. We feel the pain.
What's your guys' team looking like? Are you guys PPR or are you guys full PPR or?
Yeah, we do the full PPR. Actually, we
Yeah.
had her name's Chelsea. She's actually at the Olympic trials for curling right now, but she's leading our league right now. She was supposed to be doing the draft at her house. Driving home, she got stuck behind a tree, so she actually drafted from the side of the road somewhere in BC, and she
lit us up.
And and she's whooping all of our ass. So
Just auto draft. She just said it's auto draft.
Yeah, you know what? She said she didn't, but like you might be right, man. You might be honest.
Yeah.
Maybe she's trying to scam us out of gear here.
Yeah. No risky picks at all. Just whoever was at the top.
Yeah. When the league rolls around next year, should we be saving you a spot? Like, are you?
I would jump in. Yeah, for sure.
All you need, like, Chad usually talks a lot of shit, but his team stinks. And
as long as you stay away from the Tennessee Titan players, Kalen will still talk to you. So
yeah,
that's literally his only requirement.
Well, Derrick Henry.
I got Tannehill, and he's been absolutely junked. He's my guy, though. I love him, but he's been terrible.
Listen, I don't need you fueling that fire up there with that guy.
Yeah.
If you talk bad about Tannehill, he's just going to jump on that opportunity, man. I don't need it right now.
Hey, we were.
He stinks.
I'm trying to pick up Newton. I'm picking up Newton this week.
Yeah,
he's gonna go.
Yeah,
on.
I mean, he's an upgrade from Tannehill for sure. Especially,
Yeah.
I mean, they're playing the Patriots today. They don't need that kind of trouble.
No.
But yeah, man. Look, we just want to thank you for coming on here. We don't want to take too much of your time. We know you're a busy guy, but hey, we're definitely gonna have you back on again. We're gonna get a little bit more in depth with the season. So
for sure.
Good luck with the start of the season, and we'll definitely keep in touch.
Appreciate it. Thanks, fellas. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Go Saskatchewan.
Yeah, there we go. Cheers.
Hammer the rush.
Yeah, hammer them. All the money. Empty the account.
Later,
See you, fellas.
See ya.
All right, man. We're good at picking guests, eh? Actually, I'm gonna say Chad. Chad, you're good at picking guests. We always fucking hit home runs. You know that?
I'm not gonna say I'm great at what I do, but like I say I'm above average.
Yeah, keep them around for a little while at least.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's. I don't know, man. That was cool. I kind of want to keep talking lacrosse, but we definitely got to talk college football because our friend from Sooner Countries definitely rejoined us. Hopefully, she's feeling a little bit better. But we're happy that she's back on here. Very curious about the temperature here. I believe the exact temperature is it's fucking cold. Look,
nailed it.
College football this weekend was kind of a tough shake for me. You know, I went into this weekend fairly optimistic. It was 28-0 by the end of the first quarter. It was an absolute fucking throat fucking, and they proved exactly that. I mean, Michigan State's not a playoff team. They have really good players at the top and really weak players if anybody gets hurt. So, look, it is what it is. They've moved on. Obviously, Ohio State's going to find their way moving up because Oregon went down. So I think we're looking at Georgia, Bama, Ohio State. But the question at hand would be, who is your 4 seed? Because right now, I think there's 3 teams you could probably make a case for. Michigan, who's a bunch of pieces of shit, and I doubt it's going to be them. Notre Dame, who is quietly has put a resume together and has put up style points without anybody noticing. And Cincinnati, who is undefeated. They've been there. They actually beat Notre Dame. That's their only quality win, with the exception of, I guess, this past weekend against SMU. But if you had to pick one, where are you putting them?
I honestly believe how it sits right now, if everything plays out, no matter what happens between Georgia and Bama, I think they're both in. Unless Bama loses, and I think they can't put a 2-loss Bama team in. If Bama beats Georgia, they both stay in. And I think Cincinnati stays in. Unless Michigan beats Ohio State, I don't think it changes. And I don't know how Notre Dame can leapfrog Cincinnati unless Cincinnati loses. But then our only loss is now that hurts our strength of schedule.
Right.
So it's kind of a weird. I think Notre Dame caps it at 5. I still think that Michigan Notre Dame game is a sexy New Year's Six game. They're going to try to make it happen somehow.
Yep.
That's what the networks want. But I just don't see Notre Dame leapfrogging their way into the top 4. And I think Brian Kelly said it best. I think everybody down in South Bend is just getting spoiled with double-digit wins every year.
Right.
They're calling for his head because we're the 5th-ranked team in the country.
Yeah, which is absolutely absurd. And I think outside of you and I, after that Cincinnati game, I'm not sure many people have actually watched any Notre Dame football, unless you're a fan, I guess. But there's just been more interesting storylines to follow. And look, I mean, Notre Dame's been on a lot of prime time. They've shown a lot of different things to the committee. Teams that were supposed to be better, but just weren't. Not necessarily Notre Dame's fault as far as the scheduling goes, because if we were looking at UNC the way that I thought they were going to be, or at least somewhat close to what I thought they were going to be, that would have been a huge win. The Virginia win's big. The Virginia Tech win is big. So look, I would biasly put Notre Dame above Michigan. I don't think that the committee will. It's probably going to go Cincinnati, Michigan, Notre Dame for this next one here. But that kind of says that. I think that it's fairly safe to say, especially since we have Sooner Country on here, I think it's fairly safe to say that Oklahoma and the Big 12 is completely out of this thing, right? I mean, they're looking at a quality bowl game in the New Year's Six for whichever one of those teams wins it. And right now, the best looking team in that conference is Oklahoma State.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you just pissed off somebody in Oklahoma so bad. Look at the smile on your face. You scumbag.
I was really coming back. Man, they're playing in Michigan this upcoming week, right? I'm really nervous. I hate Michigan, man. I don't say I hate them, but I really just haven't liked them since Harbaugh's been there. And something about them playing in Michigan against Ohio, like, what if they win that game? They really have a legitimate shot here. They match up very well. Statistically, they match up very evenly. Like, what they do well, the other team stops well, and vice versa. You know what I mean?
Do you mind looking up the spread on that game for me? Ohio State, Michigan. They don't match up well together. Ohio State is an SEC team that plays in the Big Ten, and they have been for a long time. And it's part of the reason that's going to go into the next question, which is I'm taking Kenneth Walker out of the Heisman candidacy. Go ahead, Liam. Okay, so they are saying -19 on the road, which, if you remember that Michigan State spread, that was -19 in Columbus.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm pretty sure that this one is going to be as out of hand as it was against Michigan State, because Michigan does not line up well against them. They don't have the pass game to keep up with the points that Ohio State's going to put on the board here. So I think that one's going to be trouble. But CJ Stroud and Bryce Young, both guys that are looking to go towards the Heisman, I would say at this point it comes down to one of those two guys, and there'll be a third guy invited to New York. But I'll give you some quick stats just so you don't have to pull them up. One guy has 3,500 yards, 38 touchdowns, 3 picks. The other guy has 3,400 yards, 36 touchdowns, 5 picks. Both teams have 1 loss. But I'm curious, out of that, where are you putting the Heisman?
I think it's going to come down to, like, I know they don't say that the bowl game should really determine how you go and how that breaks down into the regular season. I think if Bama wins out and they beat that Georgia team and Bryce Young plays well, I think he's going to be your Heisman Trophy winner. Just be simple as that. I think the SEC is better than the Big Ten this year. Mm-hmm. And it's going to come out of competition, and it's going to be that simple. Like, if Ohio State, if he comes out and buries Michigan, yeah, you can put right back in that conversation. It's a two-man race. Like, I don't think there's a winner and a loser here. Like, they've both played lights out. They're both in their first season, which is crazy. Like we can watch these guys go at it for 2 more years.
Right.
But yeah, I'm gonna go with Bryce Young at Alabama just because it is Alabama, and I think it's gonna just. I don't know. I just have this feeling that it's gonna go there again. It's the way it always ends up. It's just how it happens.
Yeah, and Bryce Young was actually the guy that has the 38 touchdowns and the 3 interceptions. Last week he set school records for yards and touchdowns, I believe.
Yeah.
So, Kalen, when you're looking at this, and I know Texas is going to be getting into the SEC soon, do you put a lot of stock into the quality of competition versus what maybe CJ Stroud has played? And CJ Stroud kind of struggled at the beginning of the year, came on late. He's been really, really good for the past month. But are you weighing that? And like, if you do, where would your Heisman pick be?
I do like the strength of competition. I totally like what Chad is saying there. However, I do got to say that if Ohio State didn't have Stroud, the offense runs through him. Who is it going to be running through at this point if he wasn't there? And would they be as successful right now if it wasn't him that was there? I don't think there's another quarterback. There's great quality in the pipeline. The redshirt kid this year, he's going to be great. Okay, but there's nobody there right now that can do what Stroud is doing for that team, I feel, and could direct the team the way that he is. So
right, and
I think
came
that
in. They played a couple different guys in that Michigan State game, and all the other guys look like bags of shit.
Mm-hmm. And Alabama, I think, could find a way to win regardless if Bryce was there or not. They'd be able to build an offense. They always do. It's just the next man up there. So I think that Stroud deserves it at this point, even regardless of the competition. But I do like what Chad is saying.
Yeah. When it comes down to it, I do think that Ohio State is better off with Stroud as opposed to Bama with Bryce Young, because Bama has such a better system. They have proven that they have great NFL quarterbacks like Mac Jones and shitty ones like Tua, but no matter what, like, they can still find ways to win. I guess Jalen Hurts was there. As far as Ohio State goes, I think if they didn't have CJ Stroud, they really wouldn't be there. They do have a really good run game, which isn't probably looked at as much because of the kind of numbers that Stroud's been able to put up. But yeah, I think that I would probably put my money, if I was betting, towards Bryce Young, but I'm leaning towards Stroud only because of what we can see coming down the pipeline here.
Mm-hmm. I feel you.
You guys got anything else? Because it looks like we went into overtime here.
Shocking.
Yeah,
that's what we did.
We're getting ready to kick off. It looks like the Bucks Stadium is going absolutely bananas. But yeah, let's go ahead and sign off here. Daniel Jones looks terrified. Tom Brady's got his helmet on. Make sure you check out the Facebook and Instagram, Twitch channels, subscribe to the YouTube, hit the little ring alarm. Liam, what did I miss? Nothing? And we'll see you guys Thursday. Might be in person, actually. We might be in person. We'll be going on in between the Dallas game and then before the night game, so probably roughly around the same time. But definitely stay in touch. We'll post that on our Facebook. And cheers.